Hello, brothers and sisters. Thank you for sharing this moment with me. I love you all. Thank God for my life. I thank God for your life. In this moment, it can be very great. But ultimately, it's in how I'm received. This video is going to make some very tall claims. I would like an opportunity to supply some information to you before making those tall claims. Information that will be very vital to your understanding, but very logical. And I also believe you will understand why I felt the need to tell you that first, because again, I am not insulting your intelligence as an intuitional, intelligent human being in 2022. Thank you again for your time and focus. It's my understanding this could be very healing for the world. This is me in 2005 at 280 pounds. I was up to pretty much 300 pounds before I started losing weight. My overeating addiction was triggered by a lot of loss, without getting into too much personal detail. But I miraculously lost the weight from 300 down to 140 in 6 years without adding any exercise or anything, just literally taking all my food knowledge extremely serious and sticking to nature. That was how I started my health journey in reference to the journey back to the light, which is my reference to when I started the journey towards actually discovering what all the right things did for me instead of deciding to choose all the things that were doing the bad things to me. I do understand that we are creatures of nature, so in that, to be ultimately healthy, we're allowed to flex nature, but we still must be grounded to nature in our food understandings, again, to maintain an ultimate degree of health. And I've done very definitive things with my health. I should be really excited to tell you, and I am, but my concerns are not in my information, but in the ripple effect of releasing my information. I have studied vitamins and minerals under a microscope, and for a brief period of time, I did have exposure to the microscope, and there was studies, mature studies done on looking at the human male semen through the microscope, trying to figure some things out with another very educated brother that I was working with at that time. There's no longer in my life, but I still appreciate all the knowledge that I acquired while with him. So I do have that study along with a brain study before and after my weight loss, my nature guidance, and in reference to the medical field, I admit to you that I don't have the full understanding of a lot of the terminology and the fine details of the medical field. But I'm extremely happy that they do, and I'm very thankful for all of the knowledge that I was able to absorb from the medical field. And I can tell you that I did most likely absorb way more information from the medical field than you would be likely to give me credit for as a civilian. All from very legit sources. And if the medical field was telling me something that I knew was true, I 110% will stand by them. And I understand that our medical professionals are actually trying to help humanity be healthier. That is one of their passions that drives them towards it, is helping people be healthy, taking care of people. They want to do that. And they want to do that in a very strong, positive direction for the modern needs of the people's health. And as the people's health flexes, so does the needs of the medical field. And I do see some people using like psilocybin to cure some mental issues. When done properly and medically, it is a nature source, but it's doing something medicine also has the power to do. I do believe that the medical field wants to be as natural as they can be because they understand the nature of a healthy human being and how to go through with a lot of these processes that are very vital in modern times. And for example, when a doctor tells you to take a vitamin, the vitamin is necessary if you're not getting those things through your diet. And if you don't take that seriously, in reference to not getting in your diet and not taking a vitamin, you are going to suffer, and they're completely right. And that vitamin offers a great service because we understand how difficult it is to maintain that degree of health in a modern market and a modern standard. However, the standards that we do have are abusive. So we have normalized abusive degrees of health and excused it. So in that, the medical field is struggling, but alive and well, thankfully, because we do need them. And there'll always be issues in which we need the medical field. And we know that, and we all definitely have a heightened appreciation for our medical professionals with all that we've been through COVID. And those of us that have made it through COVID, thank God for sparing us. If you had COVID and got rid of it and suffered, I'm very sorry. I know it's not a game. And I do believe that if an individual had the information that can help the medical field in their direction, well, naturally, the medical field knows what they're talking about, and they would want to maturely hear the perspective. If the perspective is very logical to nature and reasonable in its display and its logistics, I do believe that people in the medical field would feel a need to investigate it at the very least. I also feel like a lot of people in the medical field have a very difficult time absorbing my information because 110% of my work has been in prevention. I have done very definitive things with my health, and it's my understanding God wants you to listen to me, and he confirmed it all with the linguistic skills. And that's just how I feel. And you can disagree with that, and a lot of that will probably have to do with your own relationship with God, but I feel like intuitionally you'll understand that. I know nobody does language like me, and nobody knows health like me, including the medical professionals. I say that reluctantly, but respectfully. Thank you for accepting that information maturely. I have extracted caffeine, salt, and sugar addictions and have lived food addiction free for several years while continuing my nature food study and practice. I discovered the difference between primary and secondary sources of vitamins and minerals that were essential to my body as a human. And I stuck with the primary source to remain with nature. This was the process that I went through that developed over time from the point in which I started losing the weight to present day. It took me 6 years to properly lose the weight by reintroducing proper vitamins and minerals into my system as a human being and addressing a lot of overeating, food addiction, and personal neglect of my own health, largely due to a lack of knowledge about my own health. But I educated myself through nature and stuck with that. And now I understand I have a very, very, very different understanding of human health. Now, I fully understand the severity of this information. And just like you intuitionally understand the language to health knowledge thing, that's how confident I am that you are going to completely and 110% comprehend everything I have to say about it. Because it's nature. You are nature. I am nature. I get the intuitional feeling when I speak about it, and I believe you will also get the intuitional feeling when you hear me speak about it in a very similar way, because that's how consciousness works. However, the nature of the information is very significant. It's not a plane. And useful. And I should be very proud of it, and I am, and I need you to be proud of me. And I need your support, because this can literally change our understanding of illness for our children. And that's a very big claim. I do not get sick, and very directly, but peacefully. I do not have a health card here in Canada. I do not get sick. In fact, I barely feel like I sleep. And respectfully, that's hard to accept, and I get that, and you might think I'm full of shit, and I don't judge you if you do, because I know how crazy that sounds. However, that's how pristine I am in my health, and in that, nature rewards me, and I barely feel like I need to sleep, and I just keep working. To a degree where if I'm working on something and put it down and go to sleep, when I wake up, what was I doing? And I just keep working. So you could see how an individual capable of doing that would be able to do all that I've done as an individual on 40-hour sleep while still going to work and still suffering the economy and still being a father and still doing all the things I need to do in my life, but still doing this because I barely sleep. But I know that my degree of practice of the understanding is not practical for me to expect of you. However, once you hear it and you're able to apply it to your children's diets, and in that, as the person that lived this long with a different understanding, you will still be improving your own health as you teach them new habits. And you will. You'll improve your own health as you go, and you'll learn, and it'll be a good experience for you because you'll be taking care of your own physical health. And when you do that, it doesn't matter what anybody tells you, because you're doing it, and you know. And they're going to say that, and you know, you're taking care of it. And you're learning. So if there's something that you're confident that you're taking care of and find out you're not, well, you just maturely deal with it. And then you are taking care of it too. So in that, if you can apply the health understanding to your children's diets, I'm very confident. I know this is a big claim too. I'm very confident that we can change our understanding of illness to a much milder degree of illness logically and reasonably by shifting the norm of our food products towards more natural products. And we need to encourage our farmers, and we need to get all that stuff up and going because our farmers are just frothing at the mouth to feed the people, and we need to let them be farmers, feed the people, because we still want supermarkets and we still need all that stuff, but there is a serious need for a higher degree of responsibility to what is normal for people to eat. And that's where I come in. I need to be very honest with you right now. This period of my life is very strange. I know the list of things I'm doing and why, and I know why it's important for me to get it out. And I'm very proud of myself, and I should be, and I know that. And thank you for staying with me throughout this video. But in my life, losing everything, complete failure. I know I'm not. I know it's because of the governing. I know there's no protection, and I don't want to talk about it. But I'm still living it. And at the same time, when I'm doing this and sharing this health information, I just feel so alive. And you may think it's weird that I don't want to share the music as much. But I really need you focused on this health information. And I really hope that it's maturely received and everybody can remain calm and not overreact, because I am fully in the understanding that I need to speak a little more directly than normal to make my point, but I have full respect for everybody. I need that to be clear. I have this degree of respect for you because I have had that degree of respect for myself. So now, even if you treat me like a piece of shit, I'm going to walk away from you before I'm going to allow myself to treat you like a piece of shit because of my physical health. I know that makes perfect sense to you. If you are a politician, you have a very heavy responsibility, and I respect you. However, I am positive that you have a child in your life and you care about their health. And if you are in the medical field, I'm very positive that any child that's in your life, well, you care about them. That's why you got in the medical field. And the thing about it is, I can say that about being in China, being in Canada, speaking this language, speaking that language, being of this descent, being of that descent, this money, that money. And it doesn't matter how you, as an individual, separate us as humans. I cannot. Because I am the bird in the tree. I am the bird in the tree. I don't really care what you're doing as long as you're not hurting anybody, because I'm just living peaceful with everybody. If you can live peaceful next to me, I can live peaceful next to you. And that all goes back to my food and my internal work. And at the end of the day, healthy children should be what we all want. And if you feel any other way, I'm sorry, but I cannot agree with that perspective on the basis that you're okay with hurting children. And one more statement before I go. I've definitely earned the right to speak my mind about some things. And the health understanding is coming, I promise you. From my perspective, there is a difference between guiding the children and controlling the children. And from my nature-based perspective, it goes back to helping the children and hurting the children. To defend that statement, we are creatures of nature. Therefore, our children are also creatures of nature. If we try to control nature, we logically will lose. And so in that, knowing our children are of nature, we don't really want to control them. However, a heavy degree of grounding and guidance is required because human beings, as nature, are unlimited. So in that, we still have a degree of a path that we're following, and that path should be in unison with nature, but also allow some flexing for our enjoyment, but not get too far from nature, because then we're harming our children whom we know are creatures of nature. And to not attune yourself to the severity of that is to not take that as seriously as I do. Because I do. And I have. And just as excited as I am to tell you, I am equally as afraid to tell you. but I do feel like you'll completely understand it. You'll instantly be able to use it. It will instantly make you feel better. You'll completely understand why when you hear it. And it may even have the power to get a major influence from the medical field. Because as I said, we still need them doing everything they're doing. But this very well may open up new possibilities for them. And with all that I've done to extract diseases and stay with nature, now to be in the circumstance I am, anybody that would expect me to not share that degree of health knowledge at any time, but especially amongst a pandemic, I can't really agree with your perspective, but I do appreciate that your perspective is very real. And I hope and I pray that everybody knows that I'm doing this with humanity in mind. I should go. Thank you all for learning and respecting the English language, allowing us to continue to connect our world peacefully with English. Eat well, remain optimistic, keep your mind clear of harmful thoughts to you, remain modern, remain peaceful, remain human. Peace and love to all of God's children, regardless of status, age, gender, geography, or mother tongue, because we're all just human. Thank God again for blessing humans with conscious choice and the option of conscious creation. I love you all.